it's very important to have a contextual 5W and 1H of your brand. This is essentially the foundation of your brand. Now, if you look at these questions, many of you may have gone ahead and actually answered these when you started your business. Could be 6 months ago, 1 year ago, 2 years ago, whatever it is, right? But it's very important to understand that now the scenario, as I was mentioning, the landscape has changed, right? So why, in the current context, what is the current contextual need that now your product addresses? It's very important to clearly define that, because now it's really not the time to come in with a product mindset where you're saying this is the product that we have. It's very important to work from an issue mindset or a solution mindset, right? It's very important to define who the people whose problem need it is. Now, why is this important? If there's a product which used to serve a certain base of customers, say 1 year ago, that may or may not, that customer base may or may not need you today. Today, it may be a whole different customer base, a whole different segment, a whole different geography that may need you. So it's very, very important for us to define now who needs our product or service as it is. What then are our insights and solution to solve the problem or need? Where and when do we get to our customers? How do we reach them? And how, which is the quality of the messaging, right? Now, all these need to be answered in context to the new normal, post-COVID. Now, how does this exercise help you? It helps create a very compelling brand story, right? Because at this point of time, let's understand what is the importance of a brand story. If you really look at it, what's happening, that the trust in the environment is extremely low, because a lot of people might be on the verge of losing their jobs. A lot of people would be very stressed financially. A lot of people may have invested in, say, mutual funds or whatever, and those have tanked completely, right? So trust in the environment is extremely less. What a brand story does is it helps to humanize your product or service. And once you have that, it's far easier to connect with people and far easier to get people to listen to you. Beyond that, what this will help is you have a set of strategically drafted key messages. Now, those key messages can either be relevant to context or relevant to your product or service in general, which you can communicate across audience segments. That's something crucial as well. And more importantly, these key messages are contextual. They are not the same old dated messages. For example, I've been receiving a lot of emailers even 5-7 days after the lockdown started, which spoke about, a certain theme park was still sending messages, a certain luxury garments company was still sending messages, why don't you buy XYZ shirts or trousers or whatever it is. Now, obviously, all that is extremely pointless and in fact dilutes the brand. And thirdly, what this exercise gives you, it's a positioning that is far likely to resonate with your customers, right? Because, as I said, because it is topical, because it is contextual, that's what people are really looking for. And I think all of us, if we really go through our social media feeds or websites or news sites, the only talk that is there all around right now is COVID. So that just kind of shows how big an issue it is. For example, I haven't seen, for example, a single major country globally talk about anything other than COVID. So, for example, there are no major policy announcements. There's nothing. Everything is in context of COVID. So even if it is a financial stimulus being asked for, it is in the context of COVID, right? So that just shows that how important it is to communicate in the current context. And when you have that brand story, the key message and the positioning, what that gives you is a set of high quality brand assets and collaboration and collateral which are ready for distribution, and a detailed media plan that can be executed at short notice. Now, why do I talk about a media plan out here specifically? Obviously, traditional media as we know it, be it outdoor, print, radio, I don't think there's even a point looking at them in the conventional sense in terms of advertising, right? Now, what's happening is that a lot of people are spending far more time on the internet or on mobile, on social, right? How can your media plan reach people where they are currently on the media that they're currently using in a manner that helps you win their trust? That is precisely what this exercise will generate for you. Beyond that, specific and very simple communication guidelines, which would apply to all of us differently, right? It's very important, obviously, because everybody, all your stakeholders, external and internal stakeholders, it could be your investors, it could be employees, it could be customers, prospects, all of them are operating with a very high level of anxiety, right? All of them are asking, okay, what about our investments? Are they ever going to yield returns? Employees are saying, what about our jobs? Right. So it's very, very important to be able to understand exactly what your stakeholders need from you at this point of time, what they're expecting from you, what are their anxieties, and then be able to communicate with them accordingly in terms of the messaging, in terms of the tone and tenor of communication. Also, there's this framework of ACT, which I wanted to talk to you about, which is specifically for crisis communications. Now, while this is an external crisis, this is applicable more for internal crisis, but I'll just explain to you how. The A of ACT, which is about accepting responsibility and working to address the problem, right? While clearly this is not an internal crisis, as I mentioned, it's not something that the company has itself brought on to its stakeholders. It's very important to go ahead and say that, look, while this is an external crisis, we continue to serve you in a different way, right? Wherein, say, for example, if today Uber, nobody is taking an Uber, nobody is going and taking an Ola, tied up with e-commerce platforms, they've tied up with governments to go ahead and distribute essential items. You're looking at a guy like Zomato or Dunzo or Swiggy who are now out delivering groceries, right? So you've gone ahead and taken responsibility for the situation, and then you're working to address the problem in a different way. Also, the need to communicate quickly and effectively. I think in this day and age, people don't have the time for jargon. People don't have the time for flowery speak. People want to hear it as it is, but hear it in an empathetic and honest manner. So it's important to communicate quickly and effectively. And also importantly, from an internal standpoint, from an organization standpoint, it's important to take advantage of this opportunity rather than be flummoxed by it, or rather than getting bogged down by the fact that, look, what else happening around us. It's very important to take advantage of this opportunity to learn, adapt, and improve. Uh, Again, then there's one more model called the 3Ts model, wherein communication at this point of time should ideally be tight, transparent, and absolutely trustworthy. Because let's understand the psychology of people at this point of time. When there's a crisis, and reflect on your lives, whenever there's a crisis, uh, a lot of people to become extremely conservative. A lot of people, because they say, okay, right now resources are limited, opportunities are limited. Let's go down, let's go and focus on what we already have in hand. It could be the people, it could be the habits that we have, right? So while yes, say for example, your say for example, if right now people are at home, people are looking at new ways to stay fit, because they're saying, you know what, in the coming days immunity is going to be extremely important, fitness is going to be extremely important. I'm currently immobile, how do I stay fit, right? So what you're saying is that, look, a lot of people are taking decisions due to anxiety, and they're preferring to avoid risk at this point of time, preserve what they have in hand. It could be cash, it could be relationships, it could be whatever. And at this point of time, if people have to choose a brand, it could be in the context of B2C or B2B, very few people will be willing to go ahead and take risks. So if you've already invested in building that sort of credibility, that sort of equity for your brand out there with your stakeholders, whoever they are, then you are in a much better position to come out of the recession successfully. In fact, there's a research which also says that now there are these company called Millward Brown and Interbrand, which conduct brand researches. There are numbers which go ahead and share, and probably I can just open that up for you. Let's look at this. Now, this is a research by Millward Brown. It's called the Brands Research. Now, these guys conduct annual surveys on brands, and they map the financial performance of these brands on the share market. Now, if you look at the graphs in yellow and pink, they are from two indexes, MSCI and S&P, Standard & Poor 500. And the one in blue is brands, strong brands portfolio. So the strongest brands, according to the brands research, have actually outperformed S&P 500 and MSCI companies, which essentially shows that if you have a very strong brand, the likelihood of you coming out of a recession is much greater, and when you come out of the recession, the likelihood of you actually profiting the most from it is much higher. So if you look on the graph around 2009-10, that period, right, the dip in the fortunes of the top ranked brands was lesser than the S&P 500, and they actually came out of the stables much better compared to the the MSCI and the S&P 500 brands. So while the top brands came out around April 2010, the other brands, which were the S&P and MSCI brands, came down around April 2012. That's when they actually recovered from the recession. So the recession lasted much longer for the non-strong brands. It makes a lot of sense to go ahead and build a brand at this point, have a startup, start your business at this point of time.